Welcome back. Now, if you've got a dilemma that's doing your head in, causing group chat drama or keeping you awake until 2 a.m. We have all been there.
Come on, let's get there. We need
Have
to get
no
to these.
fear, our dilemma doctor is here.
Absolutely. Katriona O'Sullivan is here to go through some of your questions. Thank you for getting them into us this morning. And I want to get into them quickly. So let's start. Hey, Katriona, good morning to you. Engagement, right. I've been with my partner for over 7 years now. We have a house together. We're in no rush to get married because of the expense of it all, but I'm wondering when he's going to pop the question. What's an acceptable amount of time to wait to get engaged? I don't mind having a long engagement, but getting a bit deflated waiting for the ring.
So, first things first is this. I think if you can't have this conversation with him and you're sending it in to me, then you might not be ready for an engagement. I think this is a conversation that you should be having with him. Like, if you can't express to him, this is what I want to get married, this is the time frame that I'm thinking, and that is an issue between you, maybe you're not ready actually to be married.
Do you want it to be a surprise, though?
Well, we're not living in the 1950s anymore. Okay. Like, at the end of the day,
7 years. Like, what's a surprise that's left?
I know,
that's true,
and also, you know, I'm saying to myself, why is she waiting for him? So, like, ask the question yourself. Like, take him to. Yes, why not? Like,
okay, so can we? Okay, right. We've got. You know, you're just there going, oh, really? And deflated masculinity, all that kind of stuff. But you've mentioned the conversation there. Like, I've been with someone for over 10 years, engaged for years. I'm not interested in getting married, right? Yeah. And he had to build up a lot to ask me because he knows that I'm not into it, right?
Yes.
But for this, there was a conversation between us of like, you know, do we want to be together? Do we want to buy a house together?
Same.
Right? So it is that sort of...
So, yeah, for me and Dave, for years, the running joke was I would say to him, are you ever going to marry me? And he'd be like, I'm not ready yet. And I'm like, we've 2 kids. Hello. But, like, it was something that I expressed to him, that I wanted to be married. And we were able to have that conversation, whether it was joking or not. If this person cannot speak to him about these fears, these really important fears, I think that's what she needs to be working on, not necessarily worrying about. And, like... There's no rules anymore. You don't have a certain time frame for an engagement, or, you know, it's not like 7 years or 5 years. It's whatever's right for you and your relationship.
But monetarily, if you've got a joint bank account, or like, there are issues at play, unfortunately.
Yeah, but you need to talk to him about it, not me, because if that's not right between the two of you, then you're not ready to.
Well, please talk to her. Please talk to her about it, because we enjoy talking about it here. Yeah. Now, next one. Right, this is an 18-year-old. I'm doing my leaving cert this summer. I have a holiday planned for afterwards. It's cost me nearly $3,000, but I've been offered a job that would mean I'd have to miss the holiday. I had no desire to take on such a full-time role this young, but I do think it could lead to a bigger opportunity down the road. Should I commit to full-time work after a summer of exams for my future, or just go with the holiday I've already paid for because I'm 18 and I have my whole life to work?
Listen, YOLO, YOLO, YOLO. I'm sorry to the ma'am if she's listening, because she's you know, she might not be wanting to hear this. Yeah. One of my biggest regrets is I had a child really young. I could not do the holidays. Like, being young is a time to be a little bit irresponsible, to go and have fun, to make the memories. When you're 30, when you're 40, you're not going to be able to do the same things that you could have done when you're 18. So I would say, but I would advise this. Email the job. Like, be totally honest with the job. Say, look, I'm 18, I'm just finishing, I've booked this holiday, I really want to go, but I really want the job. And if they say no, maybe they're not the job for you. Yeah. Like, I'm an employer. If someone emailed me with that question and was really honest, and I could delay it, I would, because I'd be like, this person's young, they've been really open and honest about their life, and I want them to work for me.
Absolutely, I agree with you.
But go on the holiday.
Go, and you've paid for it.
You've paid for it. Go on the holiday.
You'll be working the rest of your life.
Yes,
my
exactly.
God,
we
18.
Still talk, like, we were lucky enough to go on 6-year holidays, and we still talk about it and have great memories.
Oh, and get a tattoo. And
no,
get a tattoo.
I didn't say get the tattoo.
I'll do it for you if you want. Come back here, because I'm going to be a lesson in it later on. Right, right. Dating as a single mother. I'm a single mother with an 8-year-old child. I'd love to meet somebody. Oh, but I'm finding it really difficult to find a connection. I've been trying on the dating apps, but as a single mother who's looking for a relationship, it feels impossible. It seems like everyone just wants a good time rather than an actual relationship. How can I find someone I can connect with?
So look, I see this, sister. I was a lone parent. I shifted. through a lot of dirt before I found my nugget of gold. Like, I remember going on 2 dates with a guy. Second date, I told him I had a kid. Third date, we arranged to meet under Cleary's clock. I'm old. It wasn't old. And he didn't turn up because I had a kid. Good time, not long time person. That was devastating. So I totally see her, totally hear, and I totally feel her. However, what I would say is, first of all, make sure you're on the right apps, because there are good time apps and then there's long time apps. As far as I'm aware, I'm not on them, but I know there are apps that are much more focused on more serious relationships. So I'd go with them. The second thing I'd say is maybe you need to review who you're going for on the apps. Sometimes we're attracted to a certain type from previously that might not be the long time person. So I would say to this woman, give more people an opportunity, maybe people that you wouldn't usually go for. I'd assess who I'm going for to make sure I'm going for the right type of people. And the last thing is this, join clubs. Like, I've been going to football matches for years because of John. And I was at Shaw's recently and I thought to myself, if I was a single woman, I would come here all the time. Like, you have to go where the men are. I'm not being funny, but like, attend rugby matches, go to places if you can and you've time. I know you're a kid, you're on your own, but try to join clubs and go to places where you might meet men in different ways, not just through the apps. There are opportunities to do that. And I know 2 single parents who've met men and are in long-term relationships through the apps, not the clubs, through the apps. So don't give up. Just keep persevering. And remember, it's not you, it's them.
And because your time is finite when you're a single parent as well.
I know.
But it is important, like, it's important to be a human being outside of being a parent, right?
It is.
And to have that.
And combine them things, but join places where you know there's men there, there's available men.
Don't lose hope.
Don't lose hope.
That's the thing,
I found my nugget of gold. If I could do it, and I went through a lot. If you read my books, you'd know.
You probably hear the people.
I'm actually thinking of 3 specific ones right now.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Plug for the book, but make sure you go get it.
Right. She tells you everything.
This person is going crazy, right? First world problem, but my neighbours are renovating next door for what seems to be like forever, and I am sick of it at this stage. They're rude also, which doesn't help. What's my best move?
Look, I'm going to be honest. Like, there's times to fight with people and there's times not to fight with people. I would not be fighting with my neighbours over renovations. Like, you're going to need your neighbours at one point or another, and keeping good relationships, especially with people in your area, is really important. And I have to be honest, my advice would be buy a bottle of wine, go around the next door neighbours and give it to them. Do something nice for these people. Sometimes when we resent people, it isn't even about what they're doing. It's about us and our expectation of how they should be acting, how they should be living. We don't know what's going on in their lives. So for me, I would say you need to kind of protect your relationships with your neighbours.
They're fed up with the renovations themselves.
Of course. But also, you're going to see them for years. Like, they're going to be in your life for a long, long time. You do not want awkwardness if your neighbours, if you can protect yourself from it.
Is it hard when they're rude? Because I'm wondering if these are people who are new in the area and they're renovating and they're like, we're seeing a more egocentric world where it's all about certain people. And because they haven't even made the effort, or they haven't called around and said, listen, by the way, I'm sorry, this is going... Like, that's also going to make you resent them.
But one of the things...
You can't control them.
No, and, like, we have expectations of how other people should act that cause us to have difficulties. They're probably thinking, why are they not coming around here and welcoming us to the neighbourhood? Oh, why is she so over-friendly? She doesn't even know me. Like, we all have different values. But the truth is, there's some relationships that we need to keep intact because they're long-standing, and we're going to have to see that person. And in your neighbourhood particularly, driving in and out of your house, seeing your neighbours, you may need help one night. I would definitely keep that relationship good. Buy a bottle of wine, pop in, tell them good luck with their renovation.
And drink it together.
Yes.
Yeah, give out about it as well.
This is one, and I think that this is something that's going to increasingly happen because more and more people are living with housemates at an older age because people can't afford to buy in this country. I'm really struggling with one of my housemates. They constantly leave dirty dishes in the sink, hog the bathroom that we all share in the apartment. I don't know the best way to approach them about this because I don't want things to get awkward, seeing as we live together and you don't always know your housemates that well.
No, I again, kind of similar to the neighbour. Like, at the end of the day, like, is it really that important if there's dishes in the sink? Like,
but that's probably the start.
If that is the start of it, that's fair enough. Like, if they're mouldy dirty, then that's a different issue. But if it's dishes in the sink and them not living up to your expectation of cleanliness, maybe you need to live on your own at the end of the day. Like, if you're in a house share, you can't expect people to behave the way you expect them. There is a level. Of course there's a level, but they said dishes in the sink and using the bathroom for too long. That sounds like a them issue rather than the housemate issue. You're going to have to live with that housemate. So in any relationship, my advice is this: you have to assess the cost. So is getting into this with the person going to have a big cost to you than what you need? And if it's going to be a big cost, I wouldn't go there. In my own house, I live with three lads, and there's dishes in the sink constantly. Like, my husband said to me about 2 years ago, please stop moaning about the dishes in the sink. But sometimes the dishes in the sink is a symptom of a lot of other things.
Yeah.
I feel disrespected. I feel this person is not respecting how I want to live. And if that's the issue, maybe you need to look at yourself and say, you know what, dishes in the sink, in the grand scheme of things, is not a massive thing.
And this, we're all grown-ups as well. Have a bit of a conversation.
Yeah.
Do you mean, like, I'm sure there's things you do that annoys them.
And you could call a house meeting, and that might be a different thing. Have a house meeting and then just say, can we agree some rules around the house so it's not directed at the person? So we could say time in the bathroom, maybe something we need to talk about, who's responsible for cleaning the kitchen, and then not make it so directly at the person.
So obvious.
Yes.
I love when she talks to us about problems. I always feel better. So if you would like to get Katriona O'Sullivan's help, you just email irelandam@virginmedia.ie. Say for Dilemma Doctor. We can keep everything anonymous. Katriona O'Sullivan.
Thank you.
Oh, Captain, my captain, thank
I
you.
love going through dilemmas. Isn't
It's the best. And thank you for sharing them. We really do.
Send us in more, the juicy ones as well. We want to hear those.